Hello and welcome to Investors Hangout. This weekly interaction to help you learn and understand savings and investment issues is brought to you by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund and Value Research. We're joined by Dhirendra Kumar and we're going to discuss something that is on top of investors' mind these days. And what is it? Small cap funds. So, Dhirendra, the small cap funds they're clearly emerging as the favorites of retail investors. As per AMFI data, of the total folio addition in August 2023, 38% was in small cap funds, and it was the largest among all mutual fund categories. What do you have to say about that?
I have to say that, naive investors, individual investors are greedy. And greedy for a reason, because if you are investing money, and if you are investing money not in fixed deposit, but in the markets through a mutual fund, you would like to have superior returns. That's the point. That's the reason why you are investing. Every investor is guided by what has done very well in the recent past. If you look at last 1 year return table at Value Research Online, you will come across a bunch of small caps only.
Yeah.
And because they are top of the pack. And what happens typically is that what does well starts getting money. And because it starts getting money, it does even better. Right. The cyclicality is driven by greed, which goes to a point where people realize that, okay, it is not worth being greedy anymore. And then they lose money, then they learn it, or some kind of rebalancing. That happens with onion prices. That happens with, something else. And that happens with stock prices as well. And so looks like it is happening. Are we closer to the peak? Are we close to a point where it looks like it is very vulnerable? We might be very close.
All right. So is there any chance of them coming down very soon? And if they do, how bad can it get?
No, it depends. One is that even if they come down, assuming that, they correct by or they fall down by 20%.
Right.
And you are investing for 10 years and more. I don't think, you have anything to worry. If you started 6 months ago, you don't have much of an accumulation. The real problem is that somebody who started 2 years back with small cap, all his money is in small cap, and he is thinking that, okay, he wish he had invested more. And when all his money will be down 20%, that will be a problem, because that could be quite unnerving for a new investor. Right. If somebody has been in the market for 10 years, I think people are used to it. A lot of people who saw their small cap flip by 30%, 35% in 2020, recently, COVID, and it happened. In 2008, it was very severe. People almost gave up hope. It happens every 5-7 years. Let me just give you some history to this. In year 2000, the first dot-com boom happened, and technology stocks were on fire. Everybody was investing in Infosys, and they were also investing in technology funds. We had 4 technology funds then. The result that was visible as a result of madness around technology stocks was some of these technology funds were bigger than the diversified fund. It was a classic case of, too many investors chasing a particular theme and pouring money. Then it happened as recently as 2006-07, when everybody was over-invested in infrastructure stocks. You were investing in infrastructure stocks, and then you were in funds. And, we came to a very funny situation where one fund company launched 6 infrastructure funds in 2 years' time. That was the flavor of the season, and everybody was launching every other day some infrastructure fund, and that was over-investment that led to the crisis. Also, where a lot of investors were hurt. Look at the design of the SEBI classification. Top 100 companies are large cap. Next 150 companies are mid cap, and rest of the universe, all the stocks, they are not big. They are not, they don't have depth. My sense is that we are getting close to a not so comfortable level for these stocks. And it is entirely guided by I don't know how to curb this. This is a behavioral issue. And this keeps happening. It will keep happening. It will keep repeating. And this is time where investors should actually, formulate, at least value research followers, value research listeners, value research people who come here often. They should try and, manage their risk, reduce their risk by their own actions. And it can be done methodically.
So can you give us a perspective, how bad can it really get?
Just go by the past, and not so in distant past. we had 2008, the global financial crisis happened. And that was the time when small caps were not on the forefront. They were not ruling the market. That was not which was driving the market. The result of being a small company is that when few investors sell, it is on a it's on a free fall.
Yeah.
And that is what happens. And I don't think this time it will be different. So when small caps were not on the forefront and 2008 crisis happened, they fell by nearly 60%, or sometimes in technology crisis it went down by something like 75%. Think of your 100 rupee getting reduced to 25 rupee.
Right.
The result of that is not that people will recover, how long will it take, and this and that. The result of that is even worse. The worst is that in recent past, a lot of new investors have come in. They are beginning to invest, and once they get an experience of this kind, in 1 or 2 years' time, that they saw it soar and then collapse, they will say that this is all nonsense. They will not come back again, and that is the scary bit. Then there is another problem this time round. Earlier, they could have blamed it on the advisor,
fund manager, or advisor.
They could have blamed it on the fund company. No, this time people are choosing themselves. They are downloading an app. They are able to quickly participate, and nobody holding their hand to make them understand that how they should get started, how they should get initiated, because this is just one part of the story.
Right.
The other part of the story will actually unfold, and that will be nasty. That can be nasty, and that could be distasteful, and that could be scary. And investors can manage these issues with little thought. If they step back and try and understand what's going on and act accordingly, or do some kind of, building some shock absorbers.
Or come to value research.
Value research will empower you with tools. But, to be able to use value research, you need to understand 2-3 things very well. That are you truly diversified? How much of your money is in small cap? I don't think most investors won't be able to figure out. Because they will have some shares, they will have some funds, they will have some funds of different kind. Even if you have 4 funds, for example, you have 2 small cap, because that has been the flavor of the season. And you have 1 multi-cap. And then you have a tax saving fund. And then you have 5-10 stocks which you bought because you opened a brokerage account, and that is how you invested. As a result of this, you don't know how much money you have in small caps. When you set up your portfolio on Value Research Online, it will be able to tell you precisely that much, that this much money is in small cap, this much is in mid cap, by virtue of investing in different investments, because people will not have this context. And when they fall, everything falls. The small cap component, which is spread in all your investments,
the multi-caps, the flexi-caps,
they will all be dragged. So you need to really prepare with that. And the good diversification is 70% large cap. If you are very venturesome, 50% large cap. So you are aggressive, but 50% large cap is a good anchorage. Then making sure that 20-30% is in mid cap and remaining in small cap. This is very aggressive. And if you are 70% into small cap,
then you're
actually poised for a nasty surprise which you may not be prepared for.
So, according to you, who should be selling their small caps at this point of time?
If you have 70% in small cap,
good time to get out.
Yeah, and good time to get out gradually, because people have regret. People have regret, and that makes them do even bigger commit even bigger mistake. Because assuming you take all your money out from small cap because it has gone up very well, and it goes up even further, and that is imminent possibility. So what I suggest you should do is think of what is the target allocation to small cap. If not 20%, maybe you have an aggressive one, 40% into small cap, fine. And it has gone up to 70%, or maybe you have 2 small cap fund and it is 100%. Reduce it methodically to 40%.
Right.
And move that money to mid cap and large cap in a methodical way, and do it on a month-on-month basis. You are not out of the market. Also, this is the time when you should make sure that your short-term money is not invested in equity.
Right.
Because typically what happens in a market like this, when small cap is going up, it is not that the large cap is actually lagging behind. It's going up, but slowly, slower than small cap. We are beginning to get questions on Value Research Online that should I borrow money and invest in stocks?
Yeah.
This is a clear sign that people are getting greedy. And this is an alarming sign.
That's about selling it. Who should not sell their small caps?
If it is up to 20-30% of your total portfolio, and set up your portfolio on Value Research Online. That is the only place where you will get your precise exposure to small caps. Nowhere else will aggregate all your investments spread across mutual fund, stocks, NPS, and tell you, and for your family together, and to tell you, because small cap is not a bad thing. It is just that you should have the time frame. If you are investing for any 10-year, small cap will beat all other kind of funds hands down. But if you are coming with a very short-term expectation, you will be very, surprised in a very negative way.
All right, so clearly small caps are the favorites, but you should be diversified well and have a ceiling in mind for the small caps, because, if you go overboard, that's going to be difficult for you. Well, that's all we have for you in this episode. Keep watching this space for more information. If you like the show, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care. Bye for now.